kind of on the border of El Segundo and Manhattan Beach here as we are eastbound on Rosecrans. This is a pursuit that came out of the South LA area with LAPD's 77th Division. This is a known felony suspect, and we're now hearing that this is a robbery suspect driving this Mercedes. Not sure on the model yet if it's a C-Class or an E-Class perhaps, but definitely a capable car right here and some crazy driving. Check this out, up to 50 miles an hour right now on these slow or pretty crowded streets, I got to say, as we're now southbound on Sepulveda. It was just down off of Vista Del Mar, headed towards Manhattan Beach, which could have been really, really scary with a lot of folks out there walking around on those narrow streets, but now back out onto a major street here. So this is still LAPD involved in this. You see their helicopter overhead. They've been trying to get some units into place in this. They actually backed off because it was getting so dangerous, but it sounds like they're going to be re-engaging, and so they're trying to get some units in place here to see what they can do, but a pretty dangerous pursuit here headed into the South Bay. Gio and Mike.
Yeah, Desmond, one of the things noticing here, just as this suspect's car is picking up significant speed, you already pointed this out and noting just how crowded it is traffic-wise, and you see every type of thing that this person could potentially be running into. It is incredibly dangerous, concerning. We've mentioned all day, too, that, you know, you're in the midst of holiday travel as well, and it certainly jumps to the top of your mind in terms of concern.
Oh, my gosh. Yeah, really just outrageous here. I mean, I think we saw almost 100 miles an hour at one point with this, and again, just getting really, really close to those vehicles. Kind of surprised he hasn't already gotten in a collision at this point. We're also dealing with some weather right now, and because of their helicopter overhead as well, it's going to be kind of challenging for us to keep up. Oh boy, almost kind of fishtailing and losing control right there. But again, we are dealing with definitely a capable vehicle here. It looks like maybe the upper end of the Mercedes lineup, whichever one this is, probably a pretty powerful V8 engine. 85 miles an hour right now, southbound Sepulveda. Right. And just really afraid that this guy is going to lose control. This is going to end badly.
Yeah, the other thing there, Des, too, as you were talking, is that we saw the vehicle veer off to the opposite side of the road, the wrong side of the road there as well, going against traffic. And, I mean, it is striking to see here because just so many cars and really coming up from behind, too. You're not noticing if you're somebody else on that road going at the approximate speed limit there to see something zooming by you at potentially 100 miles an hour is absolutely frightening. And it looks like they're just getting to see across the top of the buildings. I mean, you're sort of clenched waiting. And obviously now you see a police vehicle there just briefly at the bottom of your screen. So we'll see if the engagement comes in here soon, but you have to imagine for officers it's also difficult seeing that this is a particularly crowded area where this suspect is right now.
Yeah, just really insane. I mean, you saw blowing through those red lights, not even slowing down at all, not even tapping on the brake pedal. And we're having to give some distance here to LAPD's helicopter overhead. We don't have the room to get on top because of the clouds as they make this southbound turn now. We're right down by the Redondo Beach Marina, I believe, here where we're off of Pacific Coast Highway. So you see their spotlight. We'll try to keep the shot here, but you know, liable to run into a dead end or something down into this kind of resort community. So you can see LAPD doing a really great job with this spotlight. They've been, you know, definitely alerting the different South Bay police agencies here, probably talking to Torrance now, but also Manhattan Beach, Redondo Beach, just letting everyone know what's going on in their jurisdiction right now as we're out on Ardmore Avenue, that street that has the really big median right here. But this is, you know, a street with just maybe a 25 or 30 mile an hour speed limit and just driving like an absolute lunatic out here. Headed back now towards the coast
like, I'm gonna get away.
8th Street, 8th away from a valley. We'll see what their next move is. But all the streets over here, as we get closer to the coast, they are really narrow. You could have a lot of people out here walking around, so extremely dangerous combination.
And just to circle back, too, in case, you know, we have viewers checking in these last few moments, the want here right now is that this is a suspect wanted for a robbery. And LAPD is chasing after the suspect right now, started westbound on the 105, and now looking at him here in South Bay Cities. And Des, you made that point there about how at one point in the traffic, then they veered off right, made a tight turn, and then almost looked like they were circling back, and kind of hard to tell what direction they seem to be going or whether it's buying some sort of time. I mean, who knows? But that spotlight has not lost track of this vehicle throughout the entirety of since you popped up.
No, they've been doing a really fantastic job keeping up with this right now. The tactical flight officer there who is in control of that spotlight and calling out all of the streets to the different LAPD units that have been involved in this pursuit. And you can see there is a unit back there. So, yeah, we're basically right by the Redondo Harbor right now, I think. And again, this shot you see there, I believe the power plant right there in the distance. So there's the ship right there. We just have to give them some distance. And again, because we are dealing with some clouds, we can't get on top of them right now. It's also pretty tricky airspace here on the border of Torrance Airport. So you see they've got the ground units now. They are definitely back in on this. It looks like they're trying to get pretty aggressive with reacquiring this pursuit. So it would just help for us if they would be able to get back off of the coast. But down here near busy resort area, holiday weekend, it's just a very, very dangerous combination of a lot of things going on.
Yeah, people walking around. It's that time of the year, obviously, where you're with family, and whether you're in the car going back home or leaving your destination to return back to where you were coming from, you worry about anybody that could be on the street, especially as when we were noticing how fast that vehicle was going when it was surrounded by traffic, and you had the officers' units sort of backed off and waiting to re-engage, but trying to establish our connection here and see where this vehicle is. It was zooming to the point now where seems to the only way it seemed to really slow down was really to get out of the ways of other cars. But this right here, this exact shot, is what we were citing just about 10 minutes ago, in that it was at one point going on the opposite side of the road against traffic. You worry about a head-on collision, and then diverting itself through and weaving in and out of cars there that are just stopped at a stoplight, or rather just moving through these areas where anybody could be on a street corner or walking around. But they're right there. This is the closest we've seen, Des, of a patrol vehicle as close to that suspect's vehicle so far.
Damn.
Yeah, they are definitely, back in on this one. There was a lot of back and forth about tracking, if they wanted CHP involved. This has gotten so dangerous that if this was a lesser want, if this was just a stolen vehicle or just suspected, you can see some damage on that vehicle there. So we're getting a really good view of that Mercedes. So there has already been at least one minor collision with some other innocent vehicle. But onto the wrong side of the road. I mean, it's possible that LAPD may just let this go because it is getting so dangerous. But, these are dangerous people we're talking about, robbery suspects here. They definitely want to get them off the road. It's just this kind of, my goodness, that was insanely close. Just wrong side of the road. And look at this, at 80 miles an hour over all this traffic. How did he not get in a collision right there as he crossed 11th Street? Absolute insanity with this driver right now.
Look at that.
And you see just how much traffic is out here through that red light. But you're definitely seeing the capability of this car. If it would have been, in a different car or something, you might have lost it by now. You see other units, they are very aware, all the different agencies, they're trying to get in position to kind of corral this suspect. But, I'm just not sure if they're going to be able to stick with this or how this doesn't end badly the way it's trending right now.
And Gio, just really quick, just to Desmond's point of they're chasing this guy hard as he trades paint there with another car. This came out as what's called a Code 6 Charles. That means it's a known felony suspect. This isn't believed to be a robbery that maybe happened in the last couple of hours. This is somebody that when they ran those plates, the car on the plate came back saying this guy's been involved in a previous robbery. So they likely, when they do that, they have a lot more information about the alleged robbery than we do. There's a reason. They're not even in their jurisdiction. They are in a completely different city. They are still chasing this hard on the ground. They still have their helicopter overhead. They have not wanted to let this go. There's a reason for that, and as Des pointed out, very potentially dangerous people. They're running like they're dangerous, and LAPD is chasing them like they're dangerous.
And you've already seen the damage on the side of the car, so signaling, of course, that this is someone or some people that are not afraid necessarily of potentially getting into danger there. And to Desmond's earlier point, really seems to be almost tempting fate with the amount of close calls we've seen in just the last 10 minutes with cars making a right turn or making a left turn and weaving in and out of traffic, driving on the opposite side of the road. And then the other point here is that this vehicle's a Mercedes. So to Des's earlier point, it zooms incredibly fast.
And also, as we're back on the wrong side of the road, which is so incredibly dangerous, we've also not heard that this car is stolen. So they likely know who the registered owner is. They likely know the suspects that are inside. which could give a whole other, as we go back onto the right side of the road here on Artesia Boulevard, could give them a whole other set of scenarios as to why they don't want to not stop chasing this car. They are chasing it hard. It is a robbery suspect. They were in tracking mode for a little while. The watch commander that is in charge of the pursuit right now said, go back into full-blown pursuit mode. Let's get this guy. And they're trying. And to Dez's point and your point, LAPD is not behind him because they don't want to be. They're struggling to keep up with him. They're struggling to catch up. They're not going to drive on the wrong side of the road like he is. Oh, gosh, as right goes to go through that intersection. So they've got to try to still follow some of the rules of the road. They'll obviously have their lights and sirens on, and hopefully people get out of the way. But they're not going to make the maneuvers that this guy is making, which is putting everybody in such danger. This is such a busy night. If you're in the South Bay, if you're listening to this pursuit or see all of this activity, be aware. Look out for that spotlight. Look out for the police lights that are behind you, and be very cognizant of what's going on down there, because this guy is driving very, very crazy.
This is nuts.
And another note there, we noticed several people standing on the sidewalk as well. We know the attention that these types of pursuits tend to get from people who are either watching on television or perhaps in their own neighborhood. They step out and want to see it. And again, this right here is the height of concern, because we've seen that exact image multiple times. And the more it happens, obviously, Mike, you increase, and Desmond, you increase the risk, because you're introducing more variables. Every opportunity, the potential opportunity that you're getting in there to get into a collision, or God forbid running into somebody and just avoiding it, he is not, or that suspect is not necessarily putting themselves in a safe position. And then that goes to LAPD, who is chasing behind, because you're also not going to put yourself in a position to increase the number of cars potentially weaving in and out of dangerous situations.
Right, and they obviously have no regard for their own safety or anyone else's safety at this point. I mean, that's why we put these pursuits on TV, right, is to warn the public of a safety issue, a safety threat that is happening, especially with this guy who is doing absolutely anything he can to get away. I want to ask Dez, did we lose the Night Sun, Dez?
No, it's still there. I think they're
there's
just
a unit right
really
behind him.
Yeah, they are right behind him. Wow, just ridiculous. I mean, this is so terrifying for everyone out here right now. That's at least the dozenth really insanely close call that we've had, just within inches right there of ending in a potential catastrophe. I mean, the speeds were kind of low there, but still just absolutely ludicrous. What we're seeing here. Look
at this. Where are you gonna go?
You see like some smoke coming from this vehicle occasionally. I think if that's brake dust slamming on the brakes or what, or rubber burning, just kind of speaks to how insane the driver of this vehicle is right now. And I'm still trying to determine what model it is, but I'm starting to wonder if this is maybe an AMG, one of the upper, top tier vehicles, just for the way that they've been driving it and the way that it frankly has been able to avoid catastrophe so far, as we're starting to see that damage again on the rear passenger side. So now is 70, 80 miles an hour on Western Avenue, and it's just all insane danger out here. As we're through the South Bay, we're almost making our way to where the 91 turns, where Artesia turns to the 91 freeway, but instead making this turn onto Western Avenue.
Oh, God.
And just really kind of holding my breath through every intersection here.
Absolutely, and certainly that spotlight has not lost track of that vehicle there, just to point out that as LAPD continues this pursuit, they are maintaining a steady eye on this suspect. But, just right there, the brakes are
hot.
Exactly, on this suspect's car as they keep weaving in and out of traffic. You're hoping, and as Des pointed out, you're holding your breath, because we've seen too many of these close calls in just these last 15 minutes. So you're hoping that something can get figured out here in terms of corralling this suspect. But the other thing here, as we're approaching 5 minutes past the half-hour mark, in case you're just joining in right now on this high-speed
GTA Live, that's
a
exactly what
robbery
it feels
suspect. This is a known robbery suspect to LAPD, wanted for robbery. Started westbound on the 105, and now they're on in Torrance. It seems like weaving in and out of traffic, 405 South right now.
He put his blinker on.
Oh, boy.
Still uses his turn signal, which always cracks me up.
That's certainly an option at this point. But, we've noted several people on the side of the street just a few minutes ago taking a look at this, but now dealing with a bit of more open space, let's say, here on the 405 North.
And we're going to have some
open
and I think
space
we are
on the
going
405.
South. Okay, I thought we were going north for a second. So we'll be able to follow this. If we went north, we'd have LAX and flight restricted areas. But wow, Des, surface streets is fast, and now he is just like really pinning it on the freeway.
Look at that. Those people must be like, this is
I'm not sure if this is better or worse. Now at least we're all going the same direction. but it just kind of gives him the opportunity to just slam on the gas pedal even harder and get up to well over 100 miles an hour. And you can see a little bit of the low visibility there that coming into the frame as we make our way through the South Bay. We'll see how these clouds, if they are hopefully going to cooperate with us here, but weaving, zigging and zagging all over the place, in and out of the carpool lane. Haven't had to go over to the right shoulder yet. I mean, the freeway at least is open, and there's not as many people for him to collide with, or certainly like a head-on collision or something. So, I mean, none of this is good news. Wow, really close there, cutting that box truck off. So it's still a very dangerous situation, even though at least we have traffic all going the same way.
And this is one of those situations here where, again, there's that turn signal use for some odd reason here in the middle of this pursuit. But a characteristic of the last 25 minutes, whether it was on surface streets or now here on the 405, is this Mercedes weaving in and out, slamming on the gas and then slamming on the brakes. We noted also that there was damage to that passenger side back door, and noting that this was a suspect that very clearly has no regard for his own safety as they were trying to get away. But Mike, the thing is too here that you noted as well, this is a known suspect. Right. So you essentially have the playbook on this person, presumably, if you're LAPD.
Yeah, for sure. And it speaks
like he
a
knows
lot to
that
the fact that they don't want to let this guy go and try to get him later. We've seen that in
hit the
instances
gas
before
there.
where
Look how fast
they
he's
say,
going
you know
now.
what, we've got the plate on this. We know where this guy lives. We're going to catch up with him later. LAPD is not interested in catching up later. They want to catch him now.
The spotlight on him. How does he think he's going to get away?
Pretty serious allegations against this person, some pretty serious wants. We're working with the LAPD to try to figure out if we can get some more details about this alleged robbery and when it happened and all of those things. But again, the car, as far as we have heard, has not come back stolen, which means they know who at least the registered owner is, and it probably gives them a good idea of who's inside and what that person might be accused of. And again, what this car was used in a robbery and
he's driving that
what
fast
that robbery
in the spotlight,
was is also
still
details that
straight
we're
on
trying to sort out. But just really, really wild speeds here as we go southbound on the 405. We'll be approaching, kind of the Carson, going through the Carson area right now as we continue to chase this. And the speeds are just really incredible. And as you see SkyCal's shot kind of get back there, that's because of two reasons. We're dealing with some weather and also trying to allow the LAPD helicopter to have as much space as they need to conduct their operation. But he's going really fast. So Dez is going to try to work on reacquiring that shot. You can even see one of our positioning lights bouncing off the fog.
He's
That's
going
the light that you see coming
really fast.
So, dealing with a lot up there, and they're doing a great job. But it is difficult.
Y'all hit
this
that
guy
like button.
Is cruising.
Let's get some more people
Mike,
in here.
I have a question for you, but first I want to get to Desmond and here because we're noticing
look
on
at
the
this.
camera here, Des, that
God, what are you gonna do?
there's clouds, there's weather. How is that impacting you guys up there, and how could that potentially impact the LAPD chopper as well? Because and you've noted that you're trying to give them space as well to operate freely.
Yeah, I mean, we're all just kind of bunched up a little bit. I mean, that's why we kind of have to keep this shot wide to obviously allow them to be in the front of that. As boy, we keep with that. You see the fog. That's not the right vehicle. Well, now we've got I've got the position lights like Mike just said, kind of bouncing off the fog. We do have unfortunately visibility is a little bit lower than it was when we first got on this pursuit. And you're just kind of seeing everything that we're dealing with right now. So LAPD's see if we can reacquire that vehicle with the spotlight. I mean, I see them overhead, but we just heard that they lost it as well.
Wow.
We're hearing up here, and that's there. You can see them frantically looking around. It seems like we all kind of lost it at the same time. We're in Long Beach's airspace now, trying to communicate safely with them. There's other aircraft up here. We've got lower visibility as well, and a suspect that's just so desperate to escape, and they're trying to reacquire this vehicle, but all of a sudden kind of in the dark, and this is exactly what you didn't want to see. And I don't think Wardlow and 34th is what we're hearing now. Maybe one of the ground units has it. Let me just throw it back to you guys here for a second while I try to reacquire this vehicle.
And Micah, what I was going to ask you as we, as we allow SkyCal to reset and Desmond to reset and try and find this vehicle is that what we notice is that from the location where this pursuit started to then jumping there and getting on the 405. How does that potentially impact?
Oh, that's cool.
Go ahead.
Sorry, really quick. They're out. They're out of the car at Wardlow and 34th. Desmond's going to look for that right now. We've been obviously talking about that issue, but there's Wardlow, and then I don't know if it crosses 34th, Des, or where exactly that is, but we just heard that they may have foot bailed.
Do we know if it was just one person or multiple suspects at it?
Well, that's what I'm trying to, let's see. Wardlow and Pacific Des too as well. That's kind of that intersection on the left side of the screen there. So somebody's got eyes on them, and hopefully we'll start to see some units.
Overlay.
Oh, I think go left, Des. And it's 2 people out on foot, by the way.
2 people.
And it may be in there's the spotlight, so we'll see if we can catch them running or see where the spotlight's exactly looking at. But, you know, that's the problem. And you know, usually we see this when LAPD goes into tracking mode and they don't have any units close behind. That's not what happened here. This was a good old-fashioned, that car outperformed the cops.
Yeah.
And the weather didn't help at all. And now we're in a situation where they got enough leeway on those cops. That's the abandoned car right there, sitting in the middle of the intersection. So that's where they ditched it, and that's where they got.
Okay.
Is that a different car, Des? What's happening there?
Yeah, that's not the car.
No, yeah, this is a different vehicle. I wonder if maybe they got hit by that or something. But my pilot, unfortunately, is telling me that we have to get out of here. I think it's just starting to get a little bit too dicey as far as the low clouds go. Very unfortunate, but at least breathing a little easier, knowing that the suspects are out and no longer driving like total maniacs and endangering people's lives.
Certainly, when you consider especially that vehicle and how fast it was going, there's at least some silver lining in the fact that the car has stopped and those suspects are out. But once again, 2 suspects were told jumping out of that vehicle after a lengthy pursuit. Video from earlier there on the right side of your screen when we were highlighting just the dangerous pattern of weaving through traffic, driving on the wrong side of the road. Once again, these were suspects wanted for robbery. LAPD started that chase, and eventually that chase continued onto the 405 before a variety of factors such as wind, or rather fog, weather complicating things. But now that pursuit continuing, looking for the suspects. We'll continue to keep an eye on this, monitor it for you, and of course we will have the latest information coming up on KCAL News at 8.
I think they're going to keep going. Oh, don't end it. That wasn't it, was it? Oh, yeah, no. Come on. What the hell? Oh, is that them? Why is there no sound? Can y'all hear it? Oh. Just randomly jumping fences? Yeah, you're probably the one they're looking for. Why is there no sound? Who? Yo, I have no idea why there's no sound. It looked like the dude... Oh, there he is. Uh-oh, where you going? You gonna hide under the trailer? Come on. That's not gonna take long for them to see. Yo, I don't know what happened to their sound. It like cut off. Look at them all. Oh my God, that is crazy. He's under the... They had to have seen that.
Less than lethal.
Oh, there we go. There we got some sound back.
They'll make call-outs to the man to see if he voluntarily will come out. If he doesn't, then they could approach with a shield. They could approach with the canine. They could deploy less than lethal rounds. So they really have a lot of options at their disposal. And they, of course, know what was involved in that original crime, which we believe was a felony robbery. So they know whether or not a weapon was used in that crime. So depending on the facts that led to that original robbery, the officers are going to know a little bit more about this individual than we do up here. So they'll approach it with a great abundance of caution. And again, what they'll try to do initially, though, is just to try to convince him to come out. We see him there. We see his hands. So it looks like he's, at least from this vantage point, it looks like he's at least trying to comply.
Yeah, you know, and so moments ago we just had an image there, bigger square of earlier footage when the driver, okay, there we see that suspect, hands up, yes, we see him. And at this point, yeah, walking backwards as officers may be indicating to do so.
Oh, God.
Yeah, they're making those call-outs to him right now, and they're telling him exactly what it is they want him to do. Hands are up in towards the air, which is exactly what they want. And when they feel comfortable, that is when they will approach and take him into custody. So let me widen out the shot a little bit so we can see where they are in relation to the suspect.
All right, so this is some great news here. Police have an eye on this person walking, or on his knees rather, and now on the ground. And so again, police will confront this person when they're ready. But you know, Eliana, you were talking about the other person that they're looking for, a woman.
Correct, yeah. So from what I've been able to gather is they know where she's at. They just haven't approached her yet. They were more concerned about taking him into custody, of course. So it looks like at this point he's complying. The team of officers is going to move in for the arrest. Some officers will remain with their guns drawn while others handcuff him, and then they'll search his person to make sure that there's nothing on him that could potentially harm any of the officers, and then help him to his feet before placing him in a squad car. But you'll see that the officers are still very much on guard because they don't know if perhaps somebody is down there with them, is going to jump out of this home. They don't know what the suspect's relation is to this location. I would venture to say it was simply where he ended up after the foot chase. But again, one person in custody, one still on the run.
Dang.
A scary situation there for many people who live in this area. Again, we just want to remind you, yes, there is a lot of activity around 33, 34 in Golden. So just be mindful of that. We've been hearing from Bill Preciado as well, a retired CHP officer, just to lock your doors, don't allow anybody to go inside, just stay put. Let officers do their job. Again, they are still looking for another suspect. They believe they know where that woman is at, but again, just keep your doors locked while this investigation is still underway. Eliana, thank you very much for that. We will continue to monitor this situation.
Damn, I think they got him, y'all. Yep, they got him. All right, I'm gonna go find some more videos to watch. Y'all be safe. Like the video. I'll see you on the next one.